Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Crusaders up against the Brumbies today, and we are looking forward to a really good clash. So one thing we've learned so far of the Trans-Tasman is that the New Zealand teams are dominating yet again. We saw the Highlanders defeating the Reds yesterday by 40 points to 19. And then also we had the Hurricanes thumping the Waratahs in a highly entertaining match of 17 tries. I think 64-48 the final score there. Let's just quickly go through the lineups real quickly here. For the Crusaders in the front row, we've got George Bauer, Cody Taylor, Michael Alalatoa, Mitchell Dunshay, Sam Whitelock, Ethan Blackadder, Tom Sanders, and Cullen Grace. Should be a formidable back of forwards. Rockstar says, hello, how's it going, Rockstar? Hope you guys are ready for a highly entertaining game today. The backline for the Crusaders, Brian Hall, Richie Mohanga, Lester Fainganuku, David Havili, Braden Eno, Manasa Matiale, and George Bridge forming the backline of the Crusaders. Then for the Brumbies, we've got in the front row Scott Seo, Falau Fainga, Alan Alalatoa, Darcy Swine, Nick Frost, Henry Stowers, Rory Scott, and Rob Valentini. So a couple of changes there for the Brumbies. The backline, Ryan Lonergan, Noah Lolicio, Tom Wright, Ira Simone, Len Ikitawa, Salamoni Kata, and then Tom Banks in the backline for the Brumbies. So looking pretty solid there is the Brumbies in the backline. Then on the bench for the Crusaders, we've got Brody McAllister, Tamari Williams, Oliver Yager, Scott Barrett, Brendan O'Connor, Iratara Nari, Fergus Blake, and Sevu Rees. So Sevu Rees playing off the bench today for the Crusaders. Then for the Brumbies, we've got Lakeland Lonergan, Harry Lloyd, Tom Ross, Tom Hooper, Luke Reiner, Isaac Finesse, Lile Wasa, Rijan Pasitoa, and Mac Hansen there for the Brumbies. So players not available today for the Crusaders, Sione Havili, Mitchell Drummond, Will Jordan, and, well, Sevu Rees is on the bench, so I don't know why he was added into the mix there. For the Brumbies today, Kaderin Neville, Nick White, and Andy Murid not available for the Crusaders. I did go for Crusaders by 12 today. I just feel that the New Zealand franchises are just way superior to the Australian ones at the moment. And we did see yesterday 19 points, 16 points. So because the Brumbies are a solid team, and the Crusaders as well. So yeah, anything from 12 upwards, I would say, but the Crusaders should at least be able to win it by at least 12 points. Christian says, good morning, Guru, great rugby ahead for today. So absolutely can't wait for that big game later today between the Sharks and the Bulls. But for now, it is the big one in the Trans-Tasman, the Crusaders versus the Brumbies. And when you have a look in the forwards for this Crusaders side, Cody Taylor captaining the side today, Michael Alalatoa playing against his brother Alan Alalatoa, Mitchell Dunshay is back into the starting lineup, Sam Whitelock is now solid back into the setup, Ethan Blackadder had a cracker of a final, and Tom Sanders did well for the Crusaders. When he did play last week, he wasn't in the initial starting lineup, but came on very early. Then Cullen Grace have been exceptional. He's really marking himself as a versatile player because he can play lock, flank, and now number 8. So the only places he can't play in the forwards is probably hooker and prop. So he's been really exceptional. Then Richie Mohanga, what more can you say about this guy? He's been probably the best fly-off in New Zealand for the last 2 seasons maybe, and he's just great from strength to strength. Then Lester Fainganuku today on the wing. He's been playing at outside centre as of late, but I mean, another very good utility back to have. David Havili has been exceptional at inside centre. Braden Inner gets another chance today. And then Matielli have a chance on the right wing today in the place of Sever Reese. And then George Bridge moving to fullback in the place of Will Jordan today. Then for the Brumbies in the front, you will always see a very competitive game from Scott Seo, Alan Alatoa, and Palau Fainga. Those three are the anchor in this back of forwards for the Brumbies. Then Darcy Swine and Nick Frost has done a good job. Nick Frost has now come into the side in the place of Kadera Neville. So it will be interesting to see how he performs today. And then Henry Stowers and Rory Scott and Rob Valentini. Rob Valentini will have to carry the ball quite a few times today, I think, against this strong back of forwards from the Crusaders. Backline, as always, Ryan Lonergan has done really well. Nick White not playing today for the Brumbies, so he had a decent game last week as well. Noah Lalicio, one of the youngsters, really now starting to make a mark in this Brumbies side. Then Tom Wright has been good. Solid. Ira Simoni and Ikitawa has been really strong in defense in that midfield. So it will be interesting to see how they fare against David Avili and Braden Enoch today. And then we all know Solomon Kata is a really good player coming from the league to really boost. We saw yesterday with Vunivalu, who had those little kicks, cross kicks in the air. He managed to get quite easily. So I think very much the same with Solomon Kata, and then Tom Banks have been exceptional for the Brumbies as well. Surely must be the informed fullback in Australia at the moment. So yeah, the players are now running onto the field, guys. So we are getting ready for a massive encounter today between these two teams. And like I said, my prediction for today is around 12 points plus for the Crusaders. I really don't see it going any other way at this stage. So hopefully the Brumbies can prove me wrong. I truly hope that they do. But as far as the contests go, I do believe that the All Black or the New Zealand teams will be a lot better than their counterparts at this stage. We've seen it in the games yesterday. So expect a little bit more of the same today, I would say, because this Crusader side is on great form at the moment. Just adding a few tags into the stream, guys. As you guys know, I should be able to know all these players today, so it's going to be a cracker of a game. And really looking forward to what the Brumbies can do in this game. But I just really don't see them upsetting this Crusader side. What do you guys think? Do you think the Brumbies can upset this Crusader side today at home? I don't know. Paul Williams, the referee for today, and Glenn Newman will be the TMO for this game. Right, so Richie Muhanga with the ball in hand. So the Crusaders will get this game underway for us. So let's get into this. This should be a really good game. I think the nerves of the Brumbies are very high after yesterday, seeing all the New Zealand franchises beating the Australian franchises by quite a bit. So let's see if it's more of the same today. Kickoff underway, a nice low or high shorthand kick, and it's been collected by the Crusaders from the kickoff. But I would think that they would lose this ball as it is Michael Alatoa being held up, but the Crusaders going forward. But that ball is not going to come out, so it is going to be a scrum down early on for the Brumbies, just outside their own 22. So well done there by the forwards of the Brumbies, doing a great job in stopping them. The likes of Nick Frost and Henry Stowers, Rory Scott doing pretty damn well there, holding up Michael Alatoa. Right, let's see how the first scrum of this game will go, guys. Let's see who's going to have the dominance in the scrum for today. But I do believe that the Crusaders could just be too dominant for these guys today. Right, so we're going down for the first scrum, but it is going to be a scrum reset, so things not gelling quite nicely at the moment for them. Remember, it is a scrum feed to the Brumbies after Michael Alalatoa got held up from the kickoff. A great kickoff from Richie Manga, collected by the Crusaders in the air, and then they formed the maul, but just couldn't get the ball out. Minute and a half gone in this game. Let's see, the Brumbies scrum at 87% win success, 24 penalties won in Super Rugby AU. Free kick to the Brumbies. So an early chance to relieve some pressure and get out of their own half here for the Brumbies. There's going to be Noah Lalicio to thump this downfield. Let's see what they opt to go. Will they go high or what will they do? So Lalicio has thumped this into the air and they are chasing Tom Wright. Matiele is underneath it and offloads it to George Bridge. Crusaders got the ball on their own 10-meter line at the moment. Brian Hall, out it goes to Dan Shea, up to halfway to go. Advantage to the Crusaders. Mohanga going to the air, chased well by Lester Fainganuku. It's into the hands of Braden Inner. Puts a little kick ahead. It is now one-on-one here, but Tom Banks makes the mark there. And the Brumbies under immense pressure early on in this game. So the Crusaders winning the aerial at the moment. Tom Banks putting it downfield and straight into the hands of George Bridge, all the way up to the 10-meter line inside Brumbies half. Offloads to Cody Taylor. Cody Taylor breaks the first tackle. Up to the 22 they go now. It is a kick forward here from Matiele and into the hands of Noah Lalicia, trying to step his way from his own try line at the moment. Let's see if that ball comes back for Lonergan into the hands of Scott Seo. Just trying to get out of a bad situation as the Brumbies now. Lonergan kicking and not going to find touch into the hands of George Bridge. They go to Matiele on the 10-meter line inside the Brumbies half again. Good defense from the Brumbies there, but the Crusaders set it up nicely. Now Brian Hall, out it goes to Alalatoa, Richie Mohanga. White lock, little offload from Avili to George Bridge. Here comes Lester Fainganuku over the 22. They go. An early chance now. Crusaders looking good. Richie Mohanga. Out it goes to Avili. Now it's Sanders. Nice pass to Dunshay. There's an overlap here, and it's going to be Ethan Blackadder to go over for the first try of this game. We've had 4 minutes, and the Crusaders are looking red hot at the moment. 5 points to nil after just 4 minutes of play. What a start here for the Crusaders in this game. Great hands from them. First they went left and then they turned right, but the numbers of the Brumbies just not good enough to keep up with this brilliant play from the Crusaders. What hands. There might have been a forward pass there from Dunshay to Ethan Blackadder, so we might just have a look at that. But as far as it goes now at the moment, it is a try to Ethan Blackadder. And what a start to this game. Crusaders not holding back. They want that bonus point try today because the Highlanders and the Hurricanes both got their 5-pointers from yesterday's game. And this one must be no different. The conversion from Richie Mohanga going to the left of the post there. So it stays 5-0. After 5 minutes. What a try from the Crusaders. Try by Ethan Blackadder for the Crusaders. The 5th minute. Let me just put it down and remember it, because I am bad when it comes to telling you guys who scored the tries. Restart from Lalicia. And that one is going to go directly into touch. And we are going to have an option for a lineup or a scrum and halfway for the Crusaders. So things not looking too good for the Brumbies at the moment. Christian says, too easy, Crusaders, a quality side. No, absolutely. It was easy. It was brilliantly done. I mean, I think the Crusaders would have stretched any defensive line if they had to do that move all over again. Right, so the win rate when scoring the first try, the Crusaders got an 86% and 100% win rate against the Brumbies. So expect the Crusaders to win this game if you look at the stats. Scrum at halfway for the Crusaders. Scrum feed by Brian Hall on halfway. 6.5 minutes gone, and we're going to have another reset scrum. So we have seen 2 already in this game. We're just having a talk with the players at the moment. So we are going to have that scrum reset now. Can the Crusaders go on the attack again? We expect the Crusaders to have a run with the ball every time they touch the ball. But what we have learned from the New Zealand teams is they're not very keen on running from their own half when they've got first phase ball. They do attack from turnover ball, and they love to play in the opposition half of the field. But this one being in the middle of the field, maybe a great attacking opportunity. Right, scrum feed from Brian Hall is a good one now. The Crusaders trying to milk a penalty there, but it's going to be another reset scrum. So the third one of the day already, and we've had only 7 minutes. The referee will really have to take authority at scrum time, because we can't have these minutes wasted in a game. Out of 7, 3 have been wasted. Right, so let's see if they can get this one right, guys. Crusaders backline so potent with Havili and Braden Enor, and then also the likes of Lester Fainganuku and George Bridge and Matielli. But their kingpin, Richie Mohanga, is awaiting that ball. Scrum goes down again, and yeah, went down the side of Alan Alatoa there, but the referee's going to have yet another reset. So, guys, 4 minutes now been wasted already. We've had 4 minutes of proper rugby and 4 minutes of scrum resets so far. The question is, can the Brumbies hold out against this Crusaders side, or will we see another massive defeat at the hands of the Crusaders? Right, let's see how this one goes. Scrum feed by Brian Hall. Needs to feed it in now. It's gone down again, and this time it is a penalty to the Crusaders on halfway in the middle of the field. So finally the referee's patience have gone. Front row collapsing, and now Richie Mongo will thump this downfield. Going to find touch on the 22-meter line. So this now is a great attacking opportunity for the Crusaders. Can they do this? Thrown by Cody Taylor, beautifully stolen by the Brumbies, but a little knock on from them, and we are going to go back. First knock was from the Crusaders, and then from the Brumbies. So scrum down on the 22 for the Brumbies now. Game just not getting going. After that try, I thought we were going to have a nice free-flowing game, but since then we've had, I think, 4 scrum resets and a knock-on now in the lineup as well. So let's hope there's not going to be too many scrum resets coming for the rest of this game. 9 or say 10 minutes gone in this game. The first try being scored by Ethan Blackadder in the 5th minute for the Crusaders. Scrum feed now from Lonergan for the Brumbies. On the 22 inside the Brumbies half. He needs to get this going. Come on. Penalty to the Brumbies this time round. So the referee now taking authority in this game. Penalty to the Brumbies on the 22. Barry Green has joined in and saying, good morning, Guru. How's things going? So it's going pretty well this morning. Barry, just looking forward to this game. The Crusaders scoring a fantastic try in the 5th minute of this game. So it is going to be now Tom Banks to thump this downfield for the Brumbies. and he's going to find touch round about on halfway, or just inside the Crusaders' half. Hopefully they can do something from here. They also have a very potent backline for them. It's taken in by Nick Frost now for the Brumbies, and away they go. Simone over halfway, but a knock on from the Brumbies. Well, first stop from the Crusaders in the tackle. So it is going to be another scrum to the Brumbies on halfway. So we've had about 4 scrums already, 4 reset scrums, and 2 or 3 penalties from the scrums. So on halfway, the Brumbies get to feed this ball. 11 minutes gone in this game. And welcome to everybody who is watching this stream. What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? Do you guys think the Crusaders will be too strong for the Brumbies? I had them down for a 12-point victory today. 12 being the minimum and anything over that being the maximum. So Lonergan not getting to throw this ball in. Now he finally gets it in. Another free kick coming the way of the Brumbies on halfway. And it's good to see that the ref is not taking any nonsense from this. Michael Alalatoa being the one who gets penalized for that. So will we have another scrum here? They decided to go for another scrum. Is the Brumbies. Crusaders, Gregory Grant says Crusaders by 17. So yeah, that is a very realistic target that you set out for this Crusaders side. If they're going to play like they did in the opening 4 minutes, then we're going to have trouble for the Brumbies. So I don't know how many times I've already mentioned the word scrum in this opening 12 and a half minutes. But just for those of you who've joined, we've had 3 penalty scrums, scrum penalties, 2 scrum free kicks, 4 resets, and that has taken about 8 minutes off the game already. So that scrum going down again, and this time around it's going to be a penalty to the Crusaders on halfway again. So a massive scrum from Michael Alalatoa, just destroying Scott Seo there on the loose head prop. And now Richie Mohanga is going to have a kick downfield again. And he's going to find touch this time again, roundabout just inside the 22 of the Brumbies. We've had about 13 and a half minutes gone in this game. Opening try scored by Ethan Blackadder for the Crusaders after the Crusaders ran from left to right, just destroying the Brumbies defence. Now Dunshay has taken it in for the Crusaders. Ethan Blackadder off the back. Brian Hall, Richie Mohanga. It's straightened there by George Bridge, 10 metres away from the try line. Brian Hall again, Mohanga with this long pass out to Matiele, but he knocks it on in the tackle, and we have going to have another scrum about 6 or 7 meters out from the Brumbies try line. So the Crusaders running hard, running straight, and then looking for the gaps as well. George Bridge broke through one defender. Good defense in the end there by the Brumbies, but just that last pass going forward off the hands of Matiele for the Crusaders. So we're going to have another scrum, guys. This has become the norm of this game so far in this opening 14 and a half minutes. The Brumbies on their own try line doing a defensive scrum now, and it is going to be tough. The last time the Brumbies defeated the Crusaders in Christchurch was in 2000 when Crusaders head coach Scott Robertson was still playing. So, yeah, I just can't see this happening for the Brumbies today. It's been 21 long years since the Brumbies have beaten the Crusaders at home. And you'd be really stupid if you went for the Brumbies today to win this game. Personally, I think. But, you know, stupidity also sometimes win. But let's just see if the Brumbies side can keep this Crusaders side down to a minimum of points. I think that would be a victory for the Brumbies today. So scrum feed to the Brumbies, 5 meters out from their own try line. Lonergan feeds, and another massive scrum from the Crusaders, but it does come at the back for for the Brumbies. Now taken up by Ikitawa again for the Brumbies. 10 meters out from their own try line. Lonergan, there's a penalty for the Brumbies. Players not rolling away quick enough. Or it's actually for an offside. So, and now a chance for the Brumbies to get out of their own 22. 15 and a half minutes gone in this game. Tom Banks with the kick downfield. And that's where most of the play has been happening, either in the 22 of the Brumbies or on halfway. They're just not getting into the Crusaders half at the moment. So the line out is going to be just inside the half of the Brumbies. Thrown by Falau Fainga now. Let's see what happens with this one. The lineouts have been pretty scrappy so far. That lineout is beautifully taken by Darcy Swine. Now it's Lalicio running hard to over halfway. Now Lonergan, a chance here. Falau Fainga offloads to Valentini all the way up to the 10-meter line. Now it comes out Ira Simoni with a beautiful pass to Kata. And now it's one-on-one here. Brilliant tackle from George Bridge. The Brumbies just outside the 22 now. Falau Fainga storming his way forward. Lonergan again. Lalicia. Out it goes to Scott Seo. They're still on the 22 at the moment. Lonergan, Tom Banks, now Ira Simoni. It is taken in by Nick Frost here. Over the 22 they go. But a penalty to the Crusaders for holding on. So a bad mistake there from the Brumbies. In the end, the defense of the Crusaders holding out pretty well. So it is in fact Rory Scott who gave away the penalty there for the Brumbies. The number 7 with the white headgear today. Kicked by Richie Mohanga is going to find touch on the 10-meter line inside the Crusaders half. But a brilliant pass from Ira Simoni out to Kata, and I thought it could have been trouble, but George Bridge held his own. So line up on halfway now for the Crusaders. Let's see what they can do with this one. Cody Taylor with this throw in now. He finds Cullen Gray, scout to Richie Mohanga. Now Vili offloads quickly to Ethan Blackadder. Brian Hall over halfway now. It is another chance here for Cullen Grace. Good defense from the Brumbies. Now Brian Hall again, Ethan Blackadder, Richie Mohanga. Lester Fainganuku coming off the left wing. Still going forward all the way up to the 10-meter line. Goes to Crusaders now. Brian Hall, back it comes to George Bauer. Getting caught there in the midfield by the two lock forwards. But on the 10-meter line there now. Brian Hall, out it goes to Havili, stabs it through, still gets it back. And now Matiele for the Crusaders. 5 phases already in this movement now. But a penalty to the Crusaders. It's David Havili who went off his feet there. And the Brumbies get some relieving pressure there. Dekadan says turnover. So an illegal clean-up there from the Crusaders. David Havili getting penalized. And now the Brumbies is going to kick this downfield and find touch just outside the 22. So probably the first time that they've been close to the 22 of the Crusaders today. Can they do some magic? We've had 8 or 19 minutes in this first half. Falau Fainga now with the throw-in. Goes to the back to Valentini, and that's not in straight. So the Brumbies wasting another opportunity there, and it's going to be a scrum down to the Crusaders just outside their own 22. So pretty sloppy game so far because we've had more scrums than anything in this game. But when the Crusaders do have front foot ball, they look really good at the moment. The Brumbies just surviving off the mistakes of the Crusaders at the moment. 19 and a half minutes gone. And we are going to have a scrum to the Crusaders just outside their own 22. Expect this game to open up quite a bit in the second half, guys, because this Crusader side do look hungry to run the ball. So the scrum has gone down yet again. That's the 5th one for today's game. And yeah, the referee's going to have another chat with the front rowers. He's been patient with the first few, then started to give away penalties and free kicks. So just showing a little bit of patience again and explaining to the guys exactly what he wants from them. So hopefully things will go better, or he just needs to punish them. I think that is the best way to go in this game. Patrick Chestnut has joined in as well. How's it going, Patrick? Hope you're doing well. Right, so the scrum has gone and set now. So let's see if it goes well or not. So 6 scrums already in this game and about 5 resets on those. Right, penalty to the Crusaders there. Illegal binding from it is Alan Aotearoa. So the referee's patience have gone now. We've had 20 minutes into the game, Patrick. 5 points to 0. Ethan Blackadder scoring for the Crusaders in the 5th minute of the game. So now this penalty has been kicked out on halfway. Cody Taylor to throw this in for the Crusaders. Taken by Ethan Blackadder, Brian Hall, Richie Mohanga, David Avili with a long cutout pass to Lester Fainganuku. He's going to try and run this and goes over halfway. Strong fella, not easy to bring down. Up to the 10-meter line they go. Now Richie Mohanga, back it goes to David Avili, puts it on the boot and into space. Oh, nice little run of the ball, but it's going to run over the try line. Tom Banks not allowing it to roll any further and kicks it downfield himself and is going to find touch between the 10 and the 22-meter line inside Brumbies half. If I were Tom Banks, I would have probably waited just a little bit longer to see if that ball couldn't have gone over the dead ball line. But he probably thought there were some players chasing him. But now Cody Taylor with the throw-in. And it is into the hands of Whitelock now. Brian Hall, Richie Mohanga, David Avili. Out it goes to Tom Sanders. Just quick hands through the back line. Now it spills out Brian Hall with a back pass there out to George Bridge. They're still just outside the 22. Is the Crusaders now. Brian Hall, Whitelock again. It is Michael Aotearoa making it forward. And now Brian Hall again back to Richie Mohanga. George Bauer. It's been intercepted by Ira Simone. Ira Simone is still going, and up to the 22-meter line he goes. Over it he goes. Braden Enner bringing him down. Chance here for the Brumbies as they go wide into the hands of Falau Fainga. They're inside the 22 of the Crusaders. Penalty advantage coming now. Lonergan, and a sloppy pass from him to Banks, and the referee calls him back for that penalty. So Ira Simone intercepting that ball just outside the 22. Inside their own half and had a run down the field. Got caught by Braden Enor, and now they have a chance with a penalty here, maybe to set up a line out or go for goal. Should be interesting what they decide to do. Great vision from Ira Simone there. We used to know him as a crash baller, taking it up through the midfield. So the Brumbies have decided not to go for goal, and they do set it up 5 meters out. We know that Brumbies mauls are pretty solid with Falau Fainga always off the back, and we might just see a maul coming up for the Brumbies. But I'm sure Scott Robinson have got them sorted out, because this is the Brumbies' strength, that driving maul 5 meters from the try line. Fainga throws it in. And now off the back they go into the hands of Valentini. He's 2 meters short from the try line. Now Lonergan, Lolasia, little dab through, caught by Lester Fainganuku, but he knocks it on. And it will be now a scrum to the Brumbies, 5 meters away from the try line under the posts. So the scrums have not been good so far in this game. Both teams giving away scrum penalties at times. So let's see whether this one is going to be any different. Just felt Lolasia maybe not, or he didn't have to kick that at all. Maybe just have gone straight, trying to attack the line, set it up one more time, and it would have been space for Kata, maybe on the outside, because they were 2-on-2. So maybe the scrum half could have picked and gone, create that overlap, and maybe they would have been in the corner. But then again, Lolasia is still a very young player, and you still have a lot to learn. Right, so scrum feed to the Brumbies, 5 meters from the try line. 25 minutes gone in this first half. Can the Brumbies capitalize and take the lead in this game? Another free kick quickly taken by Lonergan. Now Tom Banks straightening the line. 5 meters out is the Brumbies. Lonergan, out it goes to Alan Alatoa, putting his head down. Lonergan again. Now they find Falau Fainga. Lost a bit of ground here. Good defense from the Crusaders. Ikitawa breaking the line. And it is going to be a penalty to the Brumbies as Ikitawa got gunned there for not releasing on the ground and rolling. So it is going to come back for that offside penalty against the Crusaders. Again, 5 meters out from the try line. Tom Banks is going to go for touch here. They're going to set up yet another line-out penalty here. Is the Brumbies. Will we see their trademark driving maul being set up here or not? Valentini with the previous one just 2 meters short when he got stopped. And the Brumbies now starting to look really good. I cannot show the TV, unfortunately, so please don't ask me to do that. Right, Falau Fainga with the throw in 5 meters from the try line, taken in beautifully there by the lock forward. They start that driving maul, but the Crusaders are doing well at the moment, just forcing them backwards. The Brumbies not gaining any ground with this now to go out. It is Era Simone Lalasia breaking 2 defenders, stepping again. That's free. Still going is Lalasia, 5 meters out. Lonergan, out it goes to Nick Frost this time round. 2 meters out, and they do get it back now. Lonergan gives it out to Scott Seo, and he goes over the try line, and that's the first try here for the Brumbies. So just to answer your question as to why I'm not allowed to share the screen, I did it once, and I got banned for 3 months from YouTube, so I don't have the copyright to show the game, unfortunately. That is why I'm bringing you guys the commentary instead. Right, so 5-5 with the conversion to come in this game, and somehow the Brumbies have managed to hit back in this game, and they now can take the lead with the conversion to come. Great play eventually from the Brumbies, but the discipline of the Crusaders letting them down, and it just shows you how quickly a game can change, because, I mean, the Crusaders one moment was on the attack, just outside the 22 of the Brumbies. Then everything changed when Era Simone took that intercept and ran into the 22 of the Crusaders. And since then, it's been all Brumbies in this game. So the Brumbies now lead 7 points to 5. We've had 28 minutes in this game. Right, so Christian says Brumbies keeping it alive here. So, and Kat Spiffy says, okay, thanks. Glad that you understand, mate, because we get some people that's really cross for not showing the game, but you won't find it live on YouTube on any channel unless it's an official one, which I doubt would ever happen on YouTube. So from that kickoff, the Crusaders are going to have a scrum down because of a knock-on from Valentini just outside of 22. So a chance here for the Crusaders to counter. Will that be a big moment for the Brumbies, losing that ball from the kickoff and granting the Crusaders a chance to go on the attack yet again? Valentini, such a valuable player to the side, but making that dreadful mistake there. And now a chance here for the Crusaders. Bertie has joined in. Morning, Guru, says. Morning, Bertie. Says Crusaders by 7. What are you guys' predictions for this game? Brian Hall off the back. It goes to Richie Mohanga. He straightens the line, breaks the line, and he's going to run straight through for the Crusaders' second try of this game. And I cannot believe it. So easily done from Richie Mohanga. Where was the defense that time round for the Brumbies? But just really bad defense from them. Sees the Crusaders back into the lead. And I'm sure that he will convert this one. Wow, what a step from him. And he left them for Fools there. So 12 points to 7. Surely this is going to be now. What a try from Richie Mohanga. Mohanga getting the try in the 29th minute for the Crusaders. And then Scott Sear opened it up for the Brumbies in the 27th minute or 28th minute. So 2 really quick tries in this game, and it's all alive again. Crusaders leading by 12 points to 7 with around 10 minutes to go in this first half. What a first half we've had. We've seen the Crusaders dominating most of the game, and then an intercept from Ira Simoni just gave the Brumbies that little bit of momentum they needed, and we've had a brilliant game now. The Crusaders scoring straight after a Brumbies try with 10 minutes to go in this first half. The kickoff taken by Lester Fainganuku just outside his own 22. Still got control of the ball here. The maul has been formed, and this could be a turnover ball for the Brumbies if this ball goes down, which is the case. So scrum down to the Brumbies just outside the 22 of the Crusaders. Will we see the Brumbies hit back in this game now? We've got 9 minutes left, and what an up and down hill battle it's been so far for both teams. We've seen plenty of knock-ons, plenty of scrums, plenty of little scrappy lineouts. We've seen penalties at scrum time. We've seen free kicks at scrum time. And then we've seen some brilliance in between. So can the Brumbies unsettle the Crusaders here with 9 minutes left in the first half? Scrum down to the Brumbies, about 10 meters outside the 22 of the Crusaders. Scrum feed by Ryan Lonergan now. It's been the one area that's been very scrappy, as there's yet another scrum reset. I think we've had 6 or 7 scrum resets in this game, and then I think we've had 1 or 2 scrums actually working, and the rest have been free kicks and penalties. So let's see. It's been a tough day for the front rowers here. Michael Alatoa against Alan Alatoa, and then George Bauer and Scott Sear forming the other props. And then Cody Taylor and Falau Fainga, the 2 internationals, clashing heads in that scrum. But it's been nothing spectacular at all in the scrums today. So scrum feed by Ryan Lonergan. Big scrum from the Crusaders. Trouble at the back for the Brumbies as Ryan Lonergan gets into trouble there. They're basically back on their own, or on the 10-meter line inside the Crusaders half. Now it's taken in by Falau Fainga. Ryan Lonergan waiting for the ball at the back of the ruck. Now Kata trying to cut through the defense here of the Crusaders, but not getting there. Lonergan again. Now comes out Frost. Oh, Lalasia hammered in a tackle by Ethan Blackadder there. The Brumbies are going backwards, and then a little knock backwards from Tom Banks. So the Brumbies still have it. Now it's been picked by the Crusaders. Spills loose at the back, and a little knock on there from the Crusaders. And another scrum down to the Brumbies on the 10-meter line inside Crusaders half. Nick Bailey asked, do you think we will see the Crusaders lose a competition in our lifetime, or do you think it will only happen in our child's lifetime? That is a really good question, Nick. You can't be good forever. We know there was a time when the Crusaders had a couple of years slump, and then they came back and absolutely dominated everything. But I do think that Scott Robertson had a lot to do with the success at this Crusaders team. So, yeah, I don't think they will dominate forever. I think if Scott Robertson have to leave, they might just still dominate for maybe 2 years and then maybe fall into a little slump somewhere down the line, maybe a 2-3 year slump. But after that, I'm sure they will be back again. But a very good question. But I do think that there will be a time when the Crusaders won't be as dominant as they are at the moment. So we are just waiting for some injury attendance at the moment from the Brumbies side. We've had about 33 minutes in this game. It is going to be a scrum down to the Brumbies on the 10-meter line inside Crusaders half. Gary Bevan has joined in saying, morning, mate. How is it going? It's going well, Gary. Thank you for joining in on this live stream. It's been a pretty up and down battle so far. We've had plenty of scrums, scrum resets, knock-ons, line-out scrappy. But in between that, we've seen some brilliant play from all the teams today. There's been moments of magic in this game that's made it worth the while. But apart from that, it's been pretty scrappy from both ends so far. Nick says he agrees. And another scrum penalty for the Brumbies this time round. And I do believe that being out here on the 10-meter line in the middle of the field, they might just have a crack at kicking for goal here. Well, I'm totally wrong. They are going to go for touch. It's Tom Banks who's going to kick this downfield now, looking to set up that line out for them. He's going to find touch round about 10 meters out from the Crusaders try line. So it's a very long way to go for a driving maul. Let's see if the Brumbies can hit just before half time. We've got about 5.5 minutes to go in this first half. Thrown by Falau Fainga, taken by Darcy Swine. Now they go Falau Fainga. They're all bundled into touch there by Cody Taylor. And what a tackle on his opposite number there, 5 meters from the try line. So they set up the maul, went around the blind side, gave it to Falau Fainga. He ran over Richie Mohanga, but couldn't get past Cody Taylor there. Defensive line out for the Crusaders now, and they tried to throw that in quickly. But, whoa, free kick to the Crusaders there, and Richie Mohanga kicks it downfield and finds relief roundabout on the 10-meter line inside their own half. So quick thinking there from the Crusaders, getting themselves out of trouble there. Falau Fainga now with a throw-in to this line-up. Let's see what they can do. Darcy Swine taking off the back. Lonergan, Lolasia out to Valentini in the midfield. On the 10-meter line. Here they come again. Lolasia. Ikitawa getting caught behind the advantage line there. And the Brumbies are going backwards. Now Lonergan. Out it goes to the tight forwards here on halfway. It's been intercepted by David Havili. And what do you know? It's going to be another try here for the Crusaders. Havili just intercepting that ball. Sloppy pass from the Brumbies. And they go over for yet another try, it seems. Or is it? We'll have to wait and see what the referee says about that. So the touch judge and the referee are having a word at the moment. Whether, let's see if David Havili was actually onside when that happened. So Mike Fraser now with the TMO decision to come. We've got 3.5 minutes to go in this first half. Let's see what they are looking for at the moment. It will be a big decision, this one. So let's see if there was any mistake. The ball was out. He made the pass, and David Havili were just flying. Hands on the ball. That is fine. I'm sure the try is going to stand for that. I don't see any trouble with that one unless they do deem that he was offside, but I don't think there was anything wrong with that. So will the try be awarded? Let's see what they say. Are they going to have another look at this? No, try's been awarded. So a big moment in this game for the Crusaders, as the scoreline should now go all the way up to 19, but currently 17-7 for the Crusaders. Gary Bevan says the Crusaders are the backbone of the All Blacks team. Absolutely. So a try in the 36th minute by Havili. And the scoreline now 19 points to 7. Let's just edit and fix that up before we get to the restart of this half. Before we've got about 3 minutes left in this first half. Tom Sanders off and O'Connor on now, but it is just a blood replacement. So another kickoff from Lolasia going directly into touch, and things are starting to look pretty bad for the Brumbies at the moment. We've got 2.5 minutes left in this first half, guys, and the Crusaders now taking authority in this game. The Brumbies are starting to make silly mistakes, and yeah, that last try from David Havili was a brilliant one. Just shows you the pace of the man, because Lonergan just had his hands on the ball, went for the pass, and he went straight into the hands of Havili. Kennedy says the floodgates are opening up. Yep. So it's just a matter of by how much. It was always the question for today. Crusaders to win, but the question was always by how much. Scrum feet on halfway now. Brian Hall controlling at the back. Here they come out to David Havili again, straightening the line. Offloads to Richie Mohanga. Tries to spin his way out of the tackle. Up to the 10-meter line they go. And now it's been turned over by the Brumbies on the ground. Brilliantly done there from the flank forward of the Brumbies. So Lonergan now waiting the ball. They're about 10 meters out from their own 22 now. The Brumbies trying to run this Tom right. Now he kicks it forward and it goes into touch roundabout on halfway. 2.5 minutes left in this first half. Crusaders leading by 12 points at the moment. Kid Kennedy says Crusaders by 20 at least. So, yeah, that is very possible. So the throw-in from Cody Taylor now, just inside the Crusaders half, goes to the back, beautifully picked there by Whitelock. Now Mohanga, straightened little offload from the Crusaders in the back line. Now Mohanga kicks it forward, and he's found plenty of space. That ball is going to run 5 meters from the Brumbies try line. So just before halftime, 2 minutes to go, the Brumbies now will have a massive lineup coming up for them. Brilliant kick into space there by the Crusaders, and it runs out 5 meters from the try line. Everything going wrong for the Brumbies. That lineup also messy, but it does come back to the Brumbies side eventually. Ryan Lonergan with hands on ball here, just setting it up through the forwards. Now Valentini hitting it up for the Brumbies. They're trying to make space for Lolasia here, but the Crusaders are doing massive work trying to counteract this ruck, and they do win the penalty for that, is the Crusaders. Cody Taylor taking it quickly, puts his head down, 2 meters from the try line. Brian Hall, now he needs to get this out. Richie Mohanga, it goes out to Bridge, straightens the line, 1 meter short. Oh, Braden Enner tried to go on his own there and knocks it on. So a leg off there for the Brumbies, right under the posts. And it is going to be a scrum down to the Brumbies with less than a minute to go. Barry Green asked, what's your score prediction? So I had the Brumbies, the Crusaders down for a 12-point victory, but that being the minimum for this game. Anything over 12 points wouldn't have surprised me at all, you know. So yeah, it's been the same trend as it been yesterday, with all the New Zealand teams thumping the Australian franchises. And it looks like we're well on our way to exactly the same result here in this game. So Trans-Tasman, I wonder, is it really worth it at the moment? So scrum feed to the Brumbies, 5 meters from their own try line. Let's see what happens with this. An early shove from the Crusaders, but the referee having the patience. Now a massive scrum again, and it's gone down. So the referee will have one more reset. We're now at halftime. The time is up for the first half. So when this ball goes dead, it will be halftime. Surely the Brumbies will try and just put this into touch, unless the Crusaders can get a penalty or a turnover from this. An entertaining first half where the Crusaders have dominated for the most part of the game. An intercept by Ira Simoni gave the Brumbies some hope in for about 10 minutes in this first half, but since then it's been all Crusaders again. Ryan Smith, what is Springbok's chances against the Lions? I think so. It's going to be interesting. I don't think the best Lions team have been picked, but it seems like Gatlin make the right choices for himself. So maybe he's got a plan. But I do think South Africa will win the Test series quite easily. I hope. So from that scrum, it is a penalty to the Brumbies again. So a chance for them to get out of their own 22. And they are, well, they're not going to set up a lineup. They are going to go to halftime for this. So 19 points to 7 at halftime here for the Crusaders. Just to get back to that run split, I think it is going to be quite a close Test series. South Africa haven't played for a while, but I think we do have enough quality players to get together a great coaching setup going as well for us. So maybe a 2-1 or maybe a 3-0 whitewash. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But currently the Crusaders leading by 19 to 7. So this is how it happened. Ethan Blackadder went over in the 5th minute for the Crusaders. Then Scott Seo darted his way over for the Brumbies in the 28th minute. Then Richie Mohanga, just after kickoff, got a massive gap after stepping one of the players, went over in the 29th minute, and then David Havili with that intercept try in the 36th minute have set this up for the Crusaders with 3 tries to 1. They need another try for the bonus point, and then it will be very interesting because the question was always going to be, can the Crusaders get that bonus point, because the Highlanders and the Hurricanes both got 5 points from their first game. So, as you guys know, it is only the New Zealand franchises against the Australian franchises. So, those bonus points will be vital going forward. So, I'm going to take a quick break, but when I do come back, guys, we will be ready for the second half. So, don't go anywhere. Right, welcome back to the second half of this game between the Crusaders and the Brumbies. And as expected, we do have the Crusaders leading by 12 points at half time. So I'm pretty much sure that we're going to have pretty much the same as we had yesterday when all the New Zealand franchises won by 10 points plus. The one game going 19 points difference. The first one, the Highlanders beating the Reds by 40-19. Yeah, so 21 points difference there. And then the one between the Hurricanes and the Waratahs ending in a massive scoreline of 64-48. So, yeah, I don't see how things are going to change from here. Barry Green says, Kiwi lads have just hit 2K. What a phenomenal channel that is as well. Guys, do go check out his channel as well. He does the same job as I do. He is from New Zealand, so he is doing a phenomenal job with his live streams as well. So do go out and support him as well. But yeah, it's been quite the game so far. We've had plenty of errors. It's like I mentioned earlier. We've had this game where all the scrums have taken down. We've had a hell lot of scrums. We've had a lot of scrum resets. We've had a lot of scrum penalties. We've had some scrappy lineouts. But in between that, we've had some really good rugby from the Crusaders. And there was a time when the Brumbies were pretty solid as well for about 10 minutes or something. Barry Green says, road to 3K for Guru. Yeah, it's still a pretty long road to go, Barry. We're currently sitting at 2,181, but I'm sure we will get there at some stage this year. Definitely looking forward to the next couple of years. World Cup coming on in 2 years' time as well. And how will that affect the channel? We'll have to wait and see. And there's plenty of other stuff also that I think will influence this channel quite a bit in the future. But yeah, it's been a great experience so far being on this channel and just mingling with fellow rugby fans and stuff. So I do appreciate all that support, guys. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you are new to this channel as well. So yeah, let's quickly go and have a look at what happened in this first half. Let's go through the Crusaders lineup first. George Bower, Cody Taylor, and Michael Alatoa having a hard day in the scrums. Not one of the two teams really dominating in the scrums. We've seen penalties left and right. We've seen free kicks left and right at scrum time. A lot of scrum resets. Michael Dunshay and Sam Whitelock has been pretty solid with their ball carries and tackling. But in the line-out, it has been pretty scrappy as well from both sides. So, yeah, the forwards not being that dominant today. Ethan Blackadder having another cracker of a game. Tom Saunders doing a really good job at the breakdown and taking that ball forward. Cullen Grace won a couple of lineouts. He's also lost a couple of lineouts. So, yeah, a lot of work to be done from that. But they are getting quick ball back for their back line. And Brian Hall has been delivering the ball pretty solid to Richie Moanga. Has had a fantastic game again, just dominating with front football and hitting those little gaps, putting the ball into space. And then Lester Fainganuku has been a bit quiet today off the wing. Him and Matiele not really getting too many opportunities out wide. Then David Avili has been superb in the midfield. He's had a couple of good carries. He's straightened the line beautifully. His defense is solid. And he's also scored an intercept try, beautifully read off the back of a ruck from Lonergan, who passed it straight into his hands when he dived over under the post. And then Braden Ennard has been a bit quiet, but good on defense. George Breed has been exceptional off the back. He's also had a couple of good runs so far. Not afraid to join the line and play the game. And then let's quickly go and have a look how the Brumbies have fared. So Scott Seo, Falau Fainga, and Alan Alatoa, the same as the front row of the Crusaders, giving away too many penalties, too many free kicks. So not one of them really dominating up front in the scrums. Then Darcy Swine and Nick Frost has been pretty solid. They've been good in their own lineouts. tried to disrupt a few from the Crusaders as well. So they've had a pretty solid game. And Henry Stowers have been pretty quiet. Rory Scott is having a great game for the Brumbies so far. And then Rob Valentini has had a few good carries, but he's also made a couple of bad mistakes so far for the Brumbies, which, not directly, but indirectly led to points for the Crusaders. So a tough road ahead. The backline, Ryan Lonergan cleaning out nicely, doing the quick deliveries to his backline and his forwards. Noah Lalicio is having a game to forget at the moment. He's had a couple of restarts directly into touch. He's been caught behind the advantage line a couple of times and not really getting the ball out to his backline the way he would want to do it. Then Tom Wright and Solomon Akata has not had too much time on the ball today, but when they do have it, they do look a little bit dangerous. And it would be interesting to see how, if they can get some front foot ball, how these wingers will fare. Ira Simone has had a pretty decent game so far. He's been really good at defense, taking the ball on, carrying it nicely. He's also intercepted once, which for a moment looked like changed the whole course of the game for the Brumbies. And then Ikitawa has been really quiet. Tom Banks being busy off the back, being caught out of position quite a bit. So, yeah, just to get back to the score, because somebody did ask there now what the score is. It is Crusaders 19, the Brumbies 7 at halftime. So a massive lead here for the Crusaders going into the second half. Then Christian says, hey, Barry, looking forward to the Bulls Sharks game. Bulls fan, but I think the Sharks are going to win today. So being a Sharks fan, I've got a different idea to this game. I think the Bulls might just fire today and win that game, but it will be a very close one, Christian. So it's going to be interesting to see how that game pans out. So I had it down for the Crusaders to win this game by 12 points plus, and they are currently leading by 12 points. So you would assume that that score could grow to over 20 points later on if the Brumbies can't hit back from this trailing in this first half and maybe fire in the second half. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to turn out. Aniket says Brumbies going to come back. Let's hope for the sake of a very entertaining game, they do come back and we see a very tight game. Because when I fought Trans-Tasman at the start of the year, I thought, well, are we going to see the same dominance that the New Zealand franchises have shown in the past in Super Rugby overall? And at the moment, that is happening. All the Australian franchises are getting a thumping from the New Zealand ones. So I know the Brumbies have been the dominant force for the Australian teams in the past. So I do believe that all the Australian hopes is based on the Brumbies' performance. The Reds, the champions of Super Rugby AU, got hammered by the Highlanders yesterday. So hopefully they can come back. So just to tell you guys what exactly happened. So Ethan Blackadder opened up the scoreboard for the Crusaders in the 5th minute after the Crusaders had a brilliant run from left to right, just cutting open the defense of the Brumbies. Then between that, we had lots of errors. And then in the 28th minute, Scott Seo dived over for the Brumbies' first try. And the Brumbies took the lead for about a minute. Then Mohanga came back with a brilliant step, breaking that defense of the Brumbies wide open and going over for a try in the 29th minute. And then Havili with that intercept try in the 36th minute, putting the Crusaders into this dominant lead that they've got at the moment. So the players have now run onto the field again for the second half. So we should start in just a few seconds' time. Bilal Fainga struggling in the scrums today alongside Scott Sear and Alan Alaratoa. But apart from that, his lineups have been pretty solid and he's had a few really good carries so far in this game. Right, let's see what happens for the second half. Lilicia with the restart. It is a deep kick in, finds Cullen Grace just outside the 22 there. And now Brian Hall to Alalatoa. Now it goes wide to Havili and Matiele trying to run it from his own 22. Tom Wright tackling him there. Brian Hall's got it back. Now it comes out to Richie Mohanga, taken in by Michael Alalatoa. Just setting up, nice ball now. Mohanga again. Cody Taylor. Now it's George Bridge. Out it goes to the replacement O'Connor up to the 10-meter line. Now Brian Hall again, Richie Mohanga. Michael Alalatoa taking it up again. More of the same. Brian Hall waiting for the ball. Now comes back to Lester Fainganuku inside to George Bridge. They're making good yardage at the moment now. Richie Mohanga, Cody Taylor taking his up for them to over the 10-meter line. Now Brian Hall again, O'Connor. Now it goes out to Lester Fainganuku on a loop around, but not getting too much ground. Still inside their own half is the Crusaders. Now Mohanga, Michael Alalatoa. Now there's a bit of space for Whitelock. Gets tackled well there in midfield by Valentini. Brian Hall again. Now it's been taken in by Dunshay. Over the 10-meter line they go again. Now it's Lester Fainganuku with a third touch in this second half. In the same movement, 11 phases. Now it's taken in by George Bauer. Nice little offload to Dunshay again. Over halfway they go. Richie Mohanga, Michael Alalatoa, Braden Inner trying to loop around there. Goes over halfway now. Close to the 10-meter line. The Crusaders now. 14 phases. George Bowers comes back for the Crusaders now on halfway again. Now it's David Havili with a little stab through. Matiela chasing, but Braden Inner's got it, and he comes back to the Crusaders side. Brian Hall on halfway. Richie Mohanga again. Now going wide to, Lester Fainganuku puts it to the boot, but it's now been taken by the forwards of the Brumbies up to halfway. We've had quite the run so far. Lonergan, Lodacia trying to find space in between, but finds Matiele on the 22. Now he's going to run it up to the 10-meter line. Good tackle from Tom Wright, and a little bit isolated, but he comes back to Brian Hall now. Taken in there by Whitelock, skip pass, finds Lester Fainganuku on the left side. Good defense from the Brumbies, keeping them out at the moment. So, good counter ruck from the Brumbies, but it's going to turn into a penalty for the Crusaders. So, 3 minutes of total dominance from the Crusaders, but the defense from the Brumbies holding out very firmly there. So, Richie Mohanga now with the kick to come downfield. Let's see where he's going to find touch for this one. Great passage of play, seeing 15 phases at one stage here for the Crusaders. That lineup is going to go into touch on the 10-meter line inside Brumbies half. And let's see what the Crusaders can do with this. Right, Cody Taylor now with the throw into this lineup. He is going to find Whitelock there at the back now. Richie Mohanga, Havili. Oh, he got hammered in that tackle, and they penalized for obstruction. There, O'Connor just mistiming his run there, taking out the Brumbies player, and a penalty on halfway now for the Brumbies. They're going to kick it downfield. Is Tom Banks, and he's going to find touch inside the 22 of the Crusaders. Can they hit back now? Yeah, O'Connor just not timing his run there, and obstruction from the Crusaders. So line up to the Brumbies now inside, 5 meters inside the 22 of the Crusaders. Falau Finder with the throw-in. He is going to find Darcy Swine, and they've now taken it up off the back. They go now. Lonergan, it is Era Simone straightening the line, but isolated and picked up by Ethan Blackadder for the Crusaders. What a turnover. Now Brian Hall to Richie Mohanga, pumps it downfield, and he's going to find Tom Banks on the 10-meter line inside Brumbies half. He runs it up to halfway. Again, good tackling from the Crusaders. Now Lolacia with the cross kick. Out it goes to Kata. Oh, and Kata's knocked it on. Well, it's actually Falau Finder who were on the wing there, and he's knocked it on. It's going to be a scrum down to the Crusaders on halfway, about 10 meters from the left-hand touchline. But what a steal from Ethan Blackadder on the ground there inside the 22 of the Crusaders. And then the cross kick from Lolasia to Falau Finder, just not able to keep hold of that as he knocks it on. And the coaching box of the Brumbies looking on very, very amused by that. So we have an injury break at the moment for the Crusaders. So just waiting. We've had 5.5 minutes into the second half, guys, and a pretty entertaining passage of play so far. Can this Brumbies side find something to get back into this game? The Crusaders just about the start of the second half setting up a 14-phase run before they kick the ball forward. And since then, it's been a pretty good game. Right, so we're just waiting for that scrum to take place now, guys. It's been a pretty solid performance. Tom Sanders will not be returning to the field. It looks like a broken nose from him. And he does look in a pretty bad shape at the moment. They're showing the picture of Tom Sanders. And that nose looks pretty badly broken. It was after he went into contact with Valentini there, but he's had a pretty solid game in that first half. Right, so scrum down to the Crusaders. Let's see if the scrums will go better in the second half. Brian Hall to feed this for the Crusaders. Scrum pretty solid this time round. A good scrum from both teams. Brian Hall to Richie Moanga. Offloads to Braden Enner, who's straightening the line up to the 10-meter line they go. Now back to Richie Moanga. Long pass out to Matieli. But he's got caught by two defenders going backwards in the process. Now Brian Hall again. It is Whitelock putting his head down. Up to the 10-meter line goes the Crusaders. Now Mohanga, Bowers, Braden Enner straightening again. They've lost a bit of ground here. Brian Hall, 5 phases already. Comes out. Now there's a chance here for the Crusaders. As it's George Bridge who looped around. Quick ball back for Ethan Blackadder. Over the 10-meter line comes the Crusaders. What a game Ethan Blackadder's had. Brian Hall. Now it comes out Michael Alato to George Bowers. On the 10-meter line now the Crusaders. 8 phases already again. Cody Taylor straightening the line for them. Brian Hall back it comes. Now it comes to Michael Alalatoa. Caught behind the advantage line a bit there. Penalty advantage. Well, no, it's not a penalty advantage. 10 phases. George Bridge again. Trying to come in. David Havili. And the pass out to Matiele goes into touch. Another 10 phases plus from the Crusaders side. So they're looking to run it from every angle so far. And George having a strong run there. But he could be in trouble because there has been a replay shown on 2 occasions now where he lead it with the forearm or the shoulder. But nothing coming from it. So throw in from Falau Finder on the 10-meter line inside Brumbies half. Let's see what they're going to do from here. Throw in beautifully taken. Darcy Swine, Lonergan, Lolasia, Valentini taking it up again for the Brumbies. So they're using that move over and over. Now it's Scott Seo who breaks through. Over halfway he goes. Needs support now from his players. And a chance now for them to attack. Taken in by the lock forward. Over the 10-meter line goes the Brumbies now. This is looking much better from them. Lonergan. It comes out to Sera Simone and Tom Banks stepping. Good defense there from Cody Taylor on him. Penalty advantage coming for the Brumbies. Comes out to Ikitoa. Now it is Alan Alalatoa. Offloads to Falau Fainga. Still going. He breaks away. Needs support now. Just outside the 22, the Brumbies. Lonergan with a little kick over the top. But straight into the hands of Matayeli. So we are going to come back for that penalty now to the Brumbies. Quite entertaining second half so far. 8.5 minutes gone. Penalty to the Brumbies. About 10 meters out from the 22 of the Crusaders. Crusaders have conceded 9 penalties to the 6 of the Brumbies so far. Right, 9 minutes gone in the second half. It is Crusaders 19, the Brumbies 7 at the moment. We have now the Brumbies setting up a lineup 5 meters from the Crusaders try line. Can they get over? Big moment coming up for the Brumbies. Can they turn this into points? Time will tell. Falau Fainga running up for this lineup. Right, 9.5 minutes gone. And the lineup about to be taken by the Brumbies. Don't know what the hold-up is at the moment. So it is a head assessment coming up for Ikitawa, I think it is. So he has left the field, and now it is going to be probably Mac Hansen replacing him. Right, so the lineup throw from Falau Fainga. Spasitoa on for Ikitawa then. And off the back they come Valentini crashing the ball up 2 meters out from the try line now. It is taken in beautifully here by the Brumbies. 1 meter short now. They need to get this ball back. Lonergan waiting for it. And they do go over for the try here. It looks like Ira Simone might have dotted over here, but he doesn't look too confident. Will we see a try here from the Brumbies? Ira Simone catching them all off guard. Even the referees there. We just saw the ball pop on the try line after thinking that Lonergan would go to the back line. But we will see now whether there will be a try. Mike Fraser to decide on this one. Was there a little knock on maybe? Or what? Let's wait and see. Let's see again here. Oh, that's a try by Simone, catching everybody off guard there. And I must say that this looks really good for a try now. Let's see if there's any reason why the try cannot be awarded. Oh, it could be that he took it from an offside position. Is Ira Simone there? Was he part of the ruck there? Decision coming up from Mike Fraser here. The try has been awarded, so a great comeback here for the Brumbies in the start of the second half after the Crusaders pretty much dominated the play in this opening 10 minutes. It is the Brumbies who gets away with a try. So 19-14 now. Great stuff from Ira Simone. So discipline letting the Crusaders down just a little bit in this opening 10 minutes of this game in the second half. After really setting up 14 phases, 10 phases, and trying to break through the Brumbies defense, but they held them in and stood their ground and gets rewarded with a 7-pointer with 30 minutes to go in the second half. In the second half. So restart from Mohanga, goes up high in the air and has been knocked on by George Bridge. In the air now, advantage to the Brumbies. Tom Wright also knocks it on in the process. So we will come back for the first knock from George Bridge then from the kickoff. Scrum down on the 22, basically for the Brumbies now. It's a 5-point game at the moment. And it should be quite entertaining, guys. Let's see if the Brumbies can upset the Crusaders today. Scott Robertson looking like a little bit worried at the moment in that coaching box. The Brumbies coaching box looks a much happier one than just a couple of minutes ago. We've got 29 minutes left in this game. 5 points in it. So the try being scored there by Ira Simone in the 49th minute. Now off the back of the scrum, the Brumbies have got it, and it is Lolasia kicking it downfield into the hands of George Bridge, who runs it up to halfway. Good tackle there from the Brumbies flank forward. Now Brian Hall again, Whitelock, trying to charge his way upfield, but good defense from the Brumbies again. Now Richie Mohanga goes to the air, but nobody really chasing that. and it is Lodisia underneath it. He's going to thump it downfield as well now into the hands of Mohanga again. Up to the 10-meter line they go. Oh, nicely done. Little step there. All the way up to halfway they go. Ball spilling back for Brian Hall now. Taken in by George Bauer. Penalty advantage coming here for the Crusaders as they take it up through Dunshay. Up to halfway they go. Brian Hall again now. Braden Inner. Out it goes to Lester Fainganuku. Another good tackle from Ira Simoni. Holding up Lester Fainganuku. Good counter shove from the Brumbies there, but we are going to come back for the penalty to the Crusaders. Back on halfway. Penalty is for kicking through the ruck, so trying to spill the ball out there is the Brumbies. Right, we've had quite the entertaining game here in the second half, guys. 52 minutes gone in this game. 12 minutes into the second half. We've seen the Crusaders set up 14 phases, 10 phases, and then they gave away a penalty, and the Brumbies capitalized and scored a try in 1 minute. So 9 minutes of dominance from the Crusaders being destroyed by the Brumbies in 1 minute. So Severis now on for Matayeli, and we could see the New Zealand Flyer score a try maybe today. The lineup not going in straight from Cody Taylor, and a lead off the hook there for the Brumbies on their own 22. Scrum feed to the Brumbies. Like I said, the scrums are looking better in the second half, but the lineup still pretty much terrible from the Crusaders so far. And Scott Robertson, you can see, is very angry there in the coaching box. Right, scrum feed to the Brumbies on the 22. Let's see if they can get this out and get out of trouble. 54 minutes gone in this game. Lolasia will probably try and hit this as far as possible downfield. Brian Hall putting pressure on Lonergan at the back, but it does come out to Tom Wright, gives it out to the replacement Pasitoa, and now Lonergan again comes back to Lolasia, gives it to Ira Simoni, he kicks it downfield, and that is a brilliant kick from him, finding touch all the way up to the 10-meter line inside Crusaders half. Great stuff from Ira Simoni today. He's been really good. Scored a try and an intercept earlier in the first half. And he's been pretty solid, taking the ball up very nicely and making some line breaks. The Crusaders now got a maul of the back of that scrum. Cody Taylor controlling it on the 10-meter line inside their own half at the moment. Now Brian Hall, out it goes to Mohanga, puts it downfield. A long kick downfield into the hands. It goes off Pasitoa. And now it's Kata who breaks the line. Beats one defender. Still going as Kata up to the 10-meter line. Now quick ball Lonergan. Out it goes to Lolasia. Ira Simoni. Skip pass out to Tom Wright. Still going as the Brumbies back inside to Valentini. Over halfway they go. This is looking much better from the Brumbies. Taken up beautifully by the flank forward. Good work by Rory Scott there. Now Lolasia again. Alan Latoa straightening the line there for the Brumbies. On to halfway to go. Lonergan. Lolasia cut back inside to Tom Banks. Great defense from the Crusaders. 6 phases already now. Here they come again. Now it's Pasitoa. Up to the 10-meter line they go. Much better from the Brumbies. Again, Alan Latoa taking it up. Losing a bit of ground there is the Brumbies. In the process, 8 phases already. Ryan Lonergan, out it goes Lolasia. Now it comes to replacement prop forward there. And a penalty advantage now to the Brumbies, and they get it again. So it is about, quickly taken there by the Brumbies. Tom Wright running straight down the middle, just outside the 22 now, the Brumbies. Here they go, Pasitoa. It is Lolasia, but he's caught behind the advantage down and now puts a little kick ahead. It is a good one. The bounce is bad, but it runs into touch about 5 meters from the Crusaders try line. Didn't know quite what to do with that ball when he got it, but he did spot the space in behind, and a great little kick from him in the end, going out 5 meters from the Crusaders try line, beating Leicester Fainganuku there to the touchline. But a great run from Kata, setting it up for them, and then from there, it's just face after face, putting the pressure back on the Crusaders. So Williams have now replaced Bauer for the Crusaders as well. So a youngster coming through there for the Crusaders. Can they do something with this and get out of their own 22? It's taken beautifully by Dan Shea. This time Brian Hall, out it goes to Mohanga, steps Lonergan and then pumps it downfield where he's going to find touch. But quickly thrown in by the Brumbies, and now Tom Banks on the 10-meter line trying to make a bit of ground. Still going is Tom Banks, 5 meters out at 22. Lonergan again. Now comes Lolasia, stepping one, breaks through the first defense. Still 5 meters out. Here they come, Pasitoa. Out it goes to Mac Hansen, who's also on the field now for the Brumbies. Penalty advantage coming for them. The Crusaders diving off their feet. And now another chance here for the Brumbies to set up for that driving maul. Much better from the Brumbies now. The second 10 minutes or the second 10th minute in the second half definitely belongs to the Brumbies so far. So Lolasia have decided to go for goal instead. I wonder if that was the right move, because they are still trailing by 5 points at the moment. And if they could have gone over for a try and lead this game, we would have been in for a very exciting last 20 minutes in this game. But Lolasia have decided to go for goal. It's around about 5 or 7 meters outside the 22, about 15 meters from the left-hand touch line. So according to that, it's 32 meters the distance to the cross or to the posts. So let's see if Lolasia can get this for the Brumbies. More changes coming up for the Crusaders as well after this kick. Right, so he is setting this up now. Let's see if he can get this. Taking his time with this kick. The important one, if he misses this, all that hard work from the Brumbies basically gone to waste. But he makes no mistake, straight through the middle. So now the score 19-17 to the Crusaders. And we are in for a cracking final 20 minutes of this game. The Brumbies eating away on that lead from the Crusaders. From 19-7 down to 19-17 with 20 minutes to go in this game. Richie Moanga with the restart again. It goes into the hands of Kata for the Brumbies, taking it over to 22. Quinton Strange now on for Dan Shea as well for the Crusaders. It's taken in by Scott Seo. Gets bundled back in that tackle from Williams, but Lonergan's got it at the back for him. He can't kick this out directly as they're taking it back into the 22 now. Lonergan with the box kick over the top is chased by the Brumbies, but beautifully collected by George Bridge there. And there's advantage to the Crusaders. Players in front of the ball. Now a chance here. Here they come. Great run from Seven Rees. Now Ethan Blackadder. Space opening up for Ethan Blackadder. And he's still going. He's going to go in the corner. Does he get the try? The touch judge says no problem. So brilliant try there to the Crusaders. And a hit back almost immediately again. That's how good this Crusader side is. You'll get 3 points and they'll punish you with 7 just straight after that. So they are going to go upstairs though. So the touch judge originally was happy with the decision, but Mike Fraser will have a look at this. Let's just see what the touch judge decide. But from my angle, I was just a little bit worried about his 1 foot being in touch, maybe the right foot of Ethan Blackadder. So let's have another look at this. And still good, still good, still good. And no, he's into touch. So that is not going to be a try. Unfortunately, he has gone into touch here. And the score will probably remain 19-17. Or was it the foot of the Brumby player? Let's wait. Let's have another look at this from a different angle. The touch that's going to be in the way here. Oh. Was that foot into touch or not? He's the only one with the red shoes. So if we can see a red shoe going into touch, which I think there is gone into touch. So I think the try will be overturned and it will be a line out to the Brumbies, I personally think. But they are taking their time quite a bit with this one. For me there, it seems like he's gone out. That right foot of his, for me, went into touch. But is it conclusive? Because the try has been awarded already. Can't really see from that angle whether the foot was in touch. But if I had to make this decision, I would probably have said foot in touch, no try. But Mike Fraser having a good look at this. But what play from the Crusaders? There. That looks like a foot in touch. You can see the red boot on the whitewash there. So I can't see the strike being awarded. We've got 19 minutes left in this game. So no try, guys. As predicted, it is going to stay the same. 19-17. What a tackle from Tom Banks. Try-saving tackle at the back. But what a run again from the Crusaders. Ethan Blackadder from his own 10-meter or from the Brumbies 10-meter line went for that. And it's actually Tom Wright who made that try-saving tackle. So hats off to him. So throwing now from Lakeland Lonergan for the Brumbies. Finds Darcy Swine. And now Ryan Lonergan out to Valentini. Sets it up nicely 5 meters from his own try line. The scrum of now Ryan Lonergan gives it out to Lolacia, who had to rush that into touch and finds touch round about 5 meters in from the Brumbies 22. Inari has replaced Brian Hall, and also Cody Taylor has finished his game for today. So Brody McAllister also on for them. Right, line out to the Crusaders after that moment that could have sealed the game for the Crusaders, really. Let's see if they can get this now. It is Cullen Grace off the back and knock on from Ethan Blackadder. Advantage to the Brumbies. They're going to run this now. Lolacia inside his own 22. But in fact, there is a penalty coming to the Brumbies, it seems. Now, not sure. I don't have audio with me at the moment, but let's see what they call it. It's penalty to the Crusaders. So a chance here for the Crusaders to set this up and go for the line out, surely. Richie Mahanga with the ball in hand at the moment. What are they going to decide to do? 18 minutes left in this first half. Here they go. It's about 6 meters, 6 meters out from the Brumbies try line. Now Brody McAllister with the throw into this. Ollie Jager also onto the field for the Crusaders. Let's see the throw in from Brody McAllister, beautifully taken again by Cullen Grace. Now they've formed the maul and it's going strong. This is going over the try line. Will we see the ball being blotted down? Yes, we will. So it is try time to the Crusaders. And now things are looking a lot better for them. It is, let's see who went over for the try there. It looks like it is O'Connor. Or is it, let's just see quickly who went over for that. Yeah, I think it's O'Connor who went over for the try there. So 24 points to 17 now. The Crusaders are back with a good lead. So a great try there from the Crusaders, just showing complete dominance there in that maul. And it is the replacement. Let's just see if I got it right. It does look like Brendan O'Connor who's got the try. Yes, it is. So with 16 and a half minutes to go, if this kick goes over from Richie Mohanga, it's going to be a 9-point game. And anything can still happen. The Brumbies have shown here in the second half what they are capable of doing. Can we get that conversion from Mohanga? Important one. Right, he draws back, and that unfortunately is going to go to the left of the post again. So a 7-point game with 16 minutes to go in this game. Big moments. This is what it's all about. Great throwing from Brodie McAllister. Great take from Cullen Grace. And then they just mauled their way over. 15 minutes to go, guys. Restart from Lolasia. And now into the hands of George Bridge. Gives it up to one of the forwards, taking it up. Inari at the back of the scrum now for them, puts it to the air. And it is chased now by the Crusaders. They got it back as well. It's Oli Yaga now in possession. Inari, now Mohanga. Out it goes to Havili. He puts it to the boot. Not going to find touch with that one. Into the hands it goes of Lolasia, who slips there, but gets back on now. Tom Banks trying to break through, and here they come now. Tom Wright, all the way up to halfway he goes. Not held in the tackle, still going. Lonergan with the ball at the back now. Lolasia again gives it out to Michael Alanalatoa. Long pass, out it goes to Kata. He straightens the line. The Brumbies looking very dangerous at the moment. Lonergan again now to Alan Alatoa, putting his head down. Lonergan again, Lolasia, Scott Seo, and a great little pass from Lena Simone, but there is a knock-on from the Brumbies, unfortunately there. Valentini again, just unable to hold on to that ball. Nem says, thanks for the live, no problem, mate. Really enjoying this, doing these commentaries. And Contender says he just finished his under-14 rugby match. So, congratulations to that. Did you guys win or lose? Guys, we've got 14 minutes left and a 7-point game at the moment. Who would have thought that after halftime, trailing by 19-7, the Brumbies will come back? One of the viewers did say that they will be coming back in the second half. It was Aniket Chan 16 who said the Brumbies were going to come back in the second half. And how didn't they come back into this game? 14 minutes left. It's a 7-point game. It's a 7-point game at the moment. The Crusaders still dominating overall. So let's see. It's going to be penalty advantage to the Crusaders, but it's taken off the back from Cullen Grace. Going forward for them now. Enery. Out it goes to Oliaga. Mohanga with a long skip pass. Unfortunately, Braden Inner leaving it behind there. But we are going to come back for another penalty now to the Crusaders. And I think that they will go for goal here, from here. So surely they must seal the victory with this penalty run about 10 on a 10-meter line. They decide they want to go for the try. They want the bonus point. So that kick from Mohanga, finding touch around 10 meters out from the try line. Will we see another dominant maul from them? Throwing from Brodie McAllister, taken in again by Ethan Blackadder. Now off the back, Brodie McAllister, they're 10 meters out. Enery waiting for the ball to come. Now into the hands of Cullen Grace, just driving his way up. Penalty advantage coming again for the Crusaders. It's taken forward by Oli Yaga. Now Enery, out it goes. Mohanga with a clever little kick, but straight into the hands of the Brumbies. He tried to go, well, he showed he was going to go right and kicked it left, but he just couldn't get that try. So a big penalty coming up again for the Crusaders. Cullen Grace with a cut to his head. Richie Wonga setting up another line out 5 meters out. So surely this could be a moment for the Crusaders to seal this game and get that bonus point they need. So Cullen Grace, will he be leaving the field? Right, the throw taken by Whitelock off the back. It's a bit sloppy, but now it comes back to David Havili. They're still 5 meters out from the try line. Enery now gives it again to O'Connor. Now Enery to Cullen Grace, and Cullen Grace barges his way over the try line, and that should be the end. That should be the end of it for this Brumbies side today. 29 points to 17 it is now. With a conversion to come, should be 31 to 17. And what a try from Cullen Grace there. Bit sloppy off the back, but eventually when they got it set up, it was always just going to be a case of when rather than how they were going to score. So a good try here for the Crusaders, and they got the bonus point now as well. We've got 10 minutes left in this game now. Race scoring in the 69th minute for the Crusaders. Right, so what a second half we've had. A brilliant display from both teams, really. The Brumbies trying to come back, and then the Crusaders just basically sealing the game in 2 minutes or 5 minutes. So now Noah Lolasia to restart this game with 10 minutes to go. Can the Brumbies somehow find a way? I don't think so. I think it's over for them now. So kickoff from Lolasia there into the hands of Tanshay, I think, on the back there. Now Enery waiting for the ball to come back for the Crusaders. He's going to go to the box kick, chased down from Lester Ganuku, but into the hands of Tom Banks. Now gives it to McManson on the 10-meter line inside Crusaders half. There's now coming back Erlen Alatoa. Quick feed off the back now. Lolasia to one of the prop forwards there, replacement prop forwards. Comes back again to Lolasia. Cuts back inside to Tom Banks, but nowhere to go for the Brumbies. Again now, Lonergan, Lolasia with a little dab ahead. Beautifully picked up here by the Crusaders as they go over the halfway line. Enery, back it comes now. Braden Eno not finding enough space at the back there as the Crusaders getting driven back off the ball there. But Enery's got it back now for them. Fergus Burke is also on for Mohanga now. The kick into the air, chased by Severies and Tom Wright. Absolutely hammered into touch there. It is going to be a line out to the Crusaders on the 10-meter line inside the Brumbies half. Right, so 9 minutes to go, guys. It is a line-out throw to the Crusaders on the 10-meter line, and plenty of changes to the lineups being made from the Brumbies as well now. Ross is on for Alalatoa, who has had a good game but has struggled to stamp off his authority today. Throwing McAllister finds Tanshay. Now it comes to Fergus Burke, to Havili. Quick ball out it goes to them again. Here they come. Oh, sloppy pass from the Crusaders that time. And it is a forward pass from the number 19 there for the Crusaders, which is Is it Scott Barrett who's onto the field? No, I don't think Scott Barrett is playing today. So I think it's Quinton Strange that made that forward pass there. So with 8 minutes to go, it's all but over here. Can the Crusaders keep their bonus point intact, or can the Brumbies now take away that bonus point again from them? Hooper has replaced Frost as well for the Brumbies now. 8 minutes to go, guys. 8 minutes to go. I said Crusaders by 12 today. The current difference is 14 points. Right, scrum feed from the Brumbies off the back now. The scrum off gives it out to Lolasia. Now Tom Banks making a bit of ground. He breaks straight through, and there's an opportunity here. Tom Banks still going is Tom Banks, and over he goes for the try for the Brumbies. This game isn't over just yet. Great try from Tom Banks there, and showing some great resilience there. Need to fix this real quickly. So 22 points to the Brumbies, 31-22 with the conversion to come. What a breakthrough from Tom Banks there, scoring that try for the Brumbies. We've seen plenty of tries in this game as well. 72 minutes gone, and it is Banks who gets it for the Brumbies with the conversion to come from Lolasia. We've got 7 minutes left in this game. Can he get this conversion? So important. That's right. It is quite a difficult one. So hopefully he can get this, because if this doesn't go over, it is a 9-point game. The kick from Lolasia is a good one, and it's a 7-point game at the moment. 31-24 it is. Good comeback from the Brumbies here in the second half. Great try from Tom Banks there, splitting the defense of the Crusaders to pieces there. The restart now has been knocked on. Whoa, no, it's been deemed that they played the play in the air. So penalty to the Brumbies just inside their own half here. And Tom Banks is going to hammer this downfield. Christian says Barry Sharks are going to steal it at the end. Let's hope so. From a Sharks fan to another one. Right, so with 6 minutes to go, it is all up for grabs here. Crusaders 31, the Brumbies 24. Great try from Tom Banks. 5.5 minutes to go. Taken in beautifully from that lineup, but it's sloppy off the back, and it's going to be a penalty to the Crusaders. The player playing the ball in an offside position there. Unfortunately, it is Rory Scott who played it from an offside position from that knock-on. And now Fergus Burke will have a chance to put the Crusaders deep inside the 20, well, not deep inside, but just inside the 22 of the Brumbies. They could seal it now with 5 minutes to go. It's all on at the moment, says Ikuru Kutaya, if I pronounce it correctly. Big moments in this game. 5 minutes to go. Brodie McAllister with the throw into this lineup, just inside the 22 of the Brumbies. Whitelock calling the shots there, and it is taken by Dunshay. Now off the back, Ethan Blackadder, Innery out to Braden Ennor. Inside the 22, the Crusaders now. Quick ball comes back for them. Quinton Strange in possession now. Innery again. Now it's Tamari Williams. Driving his way forward. Innery again. Out it comes to Ethan Blackadder again. Whitelock supporting him there now. Fergus Burke David Apili gets caught behind that one. 5 phases already from the Crusaders. Enery, out it goes to Ollie Jagger. He makes his way forward, but gives away the penalty for crawling on the ground. And that is a big moment here for the Brumbies. Chance to get out of their own 22 and maybe set up something to maybe snatch a late draw or something in this game. 3.5 minutes to go in this game, guys. It doesn't get closer than this for the Brumbies. Crusaders currently not getting that bonus point. The one that they so desperately need at the moment. Throw in from Lonergan in this lineup. Taken beautifully on the back now. Another chance here for Tom Banks. Straightened by Ira Simoni. Quick ball coming back this side. Loop around here. Nice little run from Lonergan. Over halfway to go. Good attacking opportunity. They go to blind side. And it's Tom Banks again. Tom Banks. But this time he gets bundled into touch. But a high tackle from Ollie Jagger on Tom Banks gives them the penalty with just 2.5 minutes to go. Can the Brumbies snatch a draw in this game? Liliwasa going off the blind side there to Tom Banks. And then that tackle from Ollie Jagger on Tom Banks. A little bit too high. And they get the penalty. So they set up this lineup just inside the 22 of the Crusaders. Cullen Grace is back on the field in the place of Dunshay now. Throw in from Lonergan needs to be spot on here. Line-out throw comes. Bit confused at the moment for the Brumbies, but they do take it in beautifully and now set up the maul. Off the back they go to Valentini. Valentini about 7 meters out now as the Brumbies. Penalty advantage coming again for them. The pass out to Ira Simoni, not the greatest one. And he gets caught. Oh, nice little step from him. Still 10 meters out. Here comes Valentini again. Still penalty advantage to the Brumbies. They put their heads down as the forwards of the Brumbies now. Ball spills out to the Crusader side and a yellow card coming now for one of the players. Cannot believe it. Liliwasa doing a good job. David Apili is the man, or will he be the man who gets the yellow? Let's see who does get the yellow. I couldn't see quite. It's Enery who gets the yellow card. And it's 14 against 15 now with 1.5 minutes to go. Will we see a draw here, guys, or will we see the Crusaders hold on? It's taken in by Valentini again. Up to the 5 meter line they go. They're putting their heads down here. 4 meters from the try line they go. It is a great run here from Pasitoa, 2 meters out. Oh, it slips out to the Crusaders side. And another penalty to the Brumbies. Are we going to see another yellow card coming? This is very much similar to the Brumbies Reds final last week. Right, so the referee just having a talk there with the captain, saying if this is going to continue, we're going to send another guy to the bin. 1 minute left in this game, guys. It's a 7-point game. What will they do from here? They're not going to go for the lineup. Taken quickly by replacement Scrum and Valentini again. 3 meters out now. Quickly comes out to Lonergan at the back. It was now Ira Simoni. Lalesia gets caught by Braden Eno at the back there. They come again, Ira Simoni. Long cut out pass to Tom Wright. Needs to beat one Valentini on the inside. It's try time to the Brumbies. And Valentini goes over in the corner for the Brumbies. And the conversion to come could level up the score here in the dying seconds of the game. What a fight back from the Brumbies tonight as they go up to 29 points. And I don't want to be Lalesia at the moment. Big moments are made for this. Never in my wildest dreams I would have thought the Brumbies would come back after halftime and do this. Great play from Brumbies. And how important will this be to the result of this Trans-Tasman competition? Wow. The try's been awarded and it's Lolasia. Time is up. So it's either going to be a draw or a win for the Crusaders. Let's see. Big moment for Lolasia. Can he get this? The youngster. 41 meters are the distance, right about 2 meters from the touchline. Can he do this? Will this game end in a draw? Big kick from Lolasia. Let's see if he gets this. Still awaiting. Thunderous moment for this youngster. Right, here we go. And that kick is going to go to the left of the posts. So it is going to be a win for the Crusaders in the end. But they've really tried hard today. It's not the end of the world for the Brumbies. Just the way they've played today, they can be very proud of the efforts in the second half. But unfortunately, Lolasia unable to get that conversion. He's still a youngster and have a lot to learn. And I'm sure in a couple of years' time, he will slot that with ease when it comes down to the final kick again. But what a game we've had. Great game from the Brumbies. Hitting back from halftime, down 19 points to 7 to almost draw this game at the end. So the Crusaders maybe in the end deserving this win. They have dominated the game throughout. The Brumbies did well to get back in the second half, but in the end, unfortunately, just not good enough to seal the draw. Thank you guys for joining in. We are going to do the next game in just a little bit. It is the Blues taking on the Rebels. So I will see you guys in a bit for the next live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed this. So I will see you guys real soon, and thank you for the support. Just last question from Barry saying, where did they play? They played in the Orange Fury Stadium. So yeah, that's a big one for the Crusaders to finally win in the end, because they haven't lost since 2000 to the Brumbies at home. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a bit for the Blues versus Rebels game. Cheers for now.